Hi there, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Gardener's Shed podcast. And in this episode, we've got a special guest in the form of the most cheesiest gardener out there, Stephen Cheese. How are you doing, matey?
Oh, what a build-up. Yes, I'm very well, thank you, everybody. Absolute privilege to be here with you today.
Cue
Um, I'm,
applause.
sa- I'm sat in the wife's car on the driveway, looking at the garage because I've got fairly large. Well, they're all in actually, so I've got three children. So I think there's one or two. There's practically one in every room, so there isn't a room where I can record in.
Oh, God, it's going to get increasingly hotter in your car, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it is. One of the reasons I'm in the car is the van's in for its MOT and full service
Oh,
tomorrow
God.
morning.
Oh, tomorrow. So hopefully it should be back
Tomorrow
by
morning.
sort of Tuesday or something, or Monday night, all being well.
Believe it or not, my mechanic was at his yard trimming and sorting out his grassland areas on a Sunday.
Wow. I think
Working on a Sunday.
next time, mate, say to him, I know a good gardener. You know, he might be interested in taking this on for you.
Yeah, he's a mechanic. He'll charge me a fortune, but I don't think he'll pay to have his garden done.
Probably not. It's an ideal world we live in, though, isn't it? So, how has your season gone so far? We've had some absolutely gorgeous weather up in the Stoke-on-Trent region. What's it been like down south for you?
Too hot. Too hot for me, Sam. I'm a fair weather gardener. My wife would say, I don't like it when it gets as hot because we're right down on the south coast almost. I don't really work near the sea. We're about 10 miles inland, but I can cycle there quickly if I want to. But it has been so hot. I've got a black van as well, haven't I? So the van has been scorching. Yeah, really, really hot.
I think before we get further into it, just in case people haven't heard of you, I don't know how, but just explain a little bit about yourself, the operation that you run, and a little bit about Stephen Cheese Enterprises.
Uh,
Sell yourself to us.
yeah, well, I suppose, I don't know, working backwards at the moment, I'm probably at the smallest I've ever been. Um, uh, yeah, so when I start, do you want me to start from the beginning, Sam? Right from the beginning?
Yeah,
Um,
because I always my take on you is you. I know a little bit about your sort of thing, like history, but looking at you as in the sense of through YouTube, I always think you're like a classically trained gardener, if that makes sense. As in, your plant knowledge is way better than mine, and you can.
not as good as some though.
No, no, no. So yeah, let's start from the beginning. How did you get into
Well,
the gardening
I'm born
industry?
Dorset, born and bred, strong in the arm and thick in head. No, that's
The
saying they've got
question,
exhaust
whenever anybody mentions Dorset, they always
thick in the
refer
head.
to cider as proper cider. Do you like proper cider?
Yeah, I always think of cider is that not Devon, Somerset cider in Devon because we drink that, and I don't know. When I go on holiday, because I holiday and because I haven't got any money hardly, we'll go to Devon because it's the next county along, and Somerset. But they're the cider people, really. I don't know, cheeses. I like cheese is a big thing in Dorset. There's a lot of cheese festivals.
We're going to
Yeah,
the Wensleydale Creamery, me and the missus, in like a couple of weeks.
nice,
And we've booked on to, so I hope she doesn't listen to this, but I've booked on to a cheese themed afternoon tea.
nice,
So
nice.
every part has got a,
Do, I
sorry,
do like, yeah, I do like all cheeses. Like, right now, when I started, I was brought up on a farm. I was born in a hospital, like most people locally in Poole. But I was brought up on a farm until I was 14, and that's how I got into gardening because we had an acre garden. Um, my dad said to me, he said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to be a gardener, like my father was."
yeah.
And he said, "Well, that's fine." He said, "There's not a lot of money in it," which is true, definitely proven that to be true. But he said, "If you're going to be a gardener, Steve," he said, "go and get qualified." He said, "Because I haven't got any qualifications, I'm all self-taught." So that's what I did. I mean, obviously, my dad taught me what he knew. And then I went to Kingston Moorwood, which is a great college. I stayed there mostly for the bar because I lived in, I wasn't too far away, about an hour's drive, but I lived in and came back at weekends. And then through that, I mean, obviously I was doing a bit of jobbing, gardening and stuff, weekend work, and I worked in a pie factory packing pies when I was very young.
Oh,
Worked on
lovely.
some nurseries and garden centres and things like that, just to give you a brief idea. And then I got a phone call out of the blue when I was working at a pie factory in Poole, a company called Kerry Foods. I don't know if they're there anymore. I'm like down on Hamworthy Way. Got a phone call out of the blue. I was away in the Oval at the time, and I took the phone call, and it was a chap called Stuart from Kingston Moorwood who was on my course, and he said, "Oh, you live in the Horton area with your parents." He said, "There's a job come up for uh, was it an undergardener? Yeah, an undergardener." So I went there, and that was the rest is history. Just to speed it up, I had 20 years working for the estate, man and boy. I did all manner of jobs there, from the tractor driving, the groundsmanship, the groundsman's job. I did the undergardener's job, and I never got the title of head gardener, so I can't always say I was like head gardener. But I took over from the head gardener who was sadly passed away. I took over the contract as a with my brother at the time. So then my brother joined at that sort of later, towards the end of the, I don't know, 15 years in, 20, yeah, I suppose 15 years in, he joined my company and we took it over as contractors, but we were called, what was it, preferred contractor. So we had I reached preferred contractor status. It's just a title. They made it up. And I used to say to him, "Why don't you get these people to do it?" And he goes, "This is my bosses I'm talking about now at the estate." They used to say, "Steve, you're our preferred contractor. We want you to do it." And it's like, fair enough. Unfortunately, the lady I work for there, the Right Honourable Mrs. Martin, passed away, and then it just all started to fall apart from there. I that could make a video out of where it all went wrong, but they were such a big customer to us that all our eggs were in one basket. So I wouldn't have liked to have done other estates and grown to much bigger size. We had about 5 staff, 5 people, my business partner, so 7 of us. So we were quite big. That for me, I know there's big companies out there that I meet at the shows and that. I don't know how big they are, but like they're going to have like 20 plus blokes or more, aren't they? So we weren't that big, but it was more money than I've ever seen in my life. But
Do you mind talking
well,
about the turnover back then?
I think it was about 240-ish.
And
Was
what
a lot of
sort
it.
of
There's a lot of that
profit you
in
were
there,
drawing?
and a lot of staff costs. It was really high. We did. I don't want to say what it was, but it per pound, what we kept out of per pound was really high. And you say, well, why was that, Steve? I think it's because I did all my tool maintenance myself. So I mean, my daughter's studying accountancy, and we were talking about depreciation today on machinery. And she said, "Dad," she said, if you write your stuff off, depreciate it over 3 years or 5 years, she said, "Some of your stuff's really old, Dad." And I said, "Yeah, some of my mowers in there, they get to 20 years old. I think my hater's 12 years old, but the rotavator's the original one the estate manager bought me pre 20 years. The stuff that's over 20 years.
Do you
I'm,
reckon
I'm
it'll
sure
get
you
a telegraph off the king at some point?
what for me.
No, for the mower, service
Yeah,
and garden industry.
yeah.
So,
Well, they're haters. They're haters. I don't know if I've fallen out of good fettle with Hater, but Hater, I still think Hater are the best. But I have bought the WeBang. I know we're changing subjects here
no, no.
from my history, but yeah. So now it's just me. I'm afraid if we go back up to my history, it's just me. The business sort of I split with Andy. I had children later on, and I couldn't do the hours that Andy was doing, and I mostly was the estimator. So I'd go out and look at the jobs and seal the deals, if you like, and then the gopher running around getting supplies and the office person with my wife Mara. So I said he wanted to do more work and earn more money. So I said, well, we'll split the business 50-50, which is what we did. I think Andy's probably had the better last 5 years as a smaller company than I've had. And obviously we both deregistered from that. It's a quite personal conversation, this is, but I'm all right talking about it. But people say, wouldn't like, would you want to go back there? And I think, obviously, I'd love to have the money, Sam. I would love to have that sort of money again. Better monthly income, like much better monthly income than what I've got now. But I wouldn't want to add the stress that came
So
with it, Sam.
jumping back further into time, or should I say, to start this conversation, you said about your father. Was he a gardener himself?
Yeah,
Was he
yeah, he was a
self-employed or?
machine. He's 87 now. He's gone down a little bit, downhill bit. He's not as able to do what he used to be able to do. Um, he he was a dairyman. He was a dairyman. So a farm labourer, a farm worker,
Yeah, yeah.
land worker. He's had over 30 years in the dairy, I think, plus 30 years. He's always had a tied cottage, so a cottage that came with a job. He was a dairyman and he was a tractor driver, so he drove the tractor as well. And he did gardening at weekends and like after work and that sort of thing. So it was more of a hobby. But he was a keen hobby gardener as well, because I'd say we had about a quarter of an, not a quarter of an acre, three quarters of an acre, almost an acre garden. Yeah, and he's always had allotments, and we've always asked neighbours with land. You know, we would live in a rural area, so the neighbours had lots of land. We've always had allotments. He worked for a Witchhampton board mill. He's in charge of making pallets at one time, and he got a piece of land behind the pallet shop. It was a really big unit, massive long unit, and behind it there was a river. And along between the river and the unit, we renovated it all up, and he had a veg. So he's had quite a few veg plots, to be honest. He's a very keen vegetable grower.
Blooming hell.
Yeah,
It's
but I've spent my
just
whole
what
life
you
in
said about him saying that there's not much money in this industry, and then you went on to build a business with your brother, which ended up generating a really good sort of income. It shows in a way that it can be done, can't it? It's just what you almost
yeah,
want to give up along the way or go without along the way, let's just say.
yeah. I mean, moving on from, I mean, obviously people probably know if they watch my channel, it's just me now. Um, I wouldn't say I was full time, although I have got, you know, if we move on into talking about YouTube, which is something else I started doing just over a couple of years ago. Since doing YouTube, and I've put it onto Facebook, as a lot of you might know, I'm getting, and I've tied it to my website as well. So, I mean, this is probably good advice for a newbie. I seem to be getting a lot more work. Like this month, it's been too much for me, really, the amount of work I've got coming in.
And this is coming from YouTube. So this is where people have seen on, because I
Yeah,
know you
the
edit
way,
down shorts and put them on your Facebook. So obviously people are seeing them.
yeah.
So
So what they've done is they've gone Gardner and Wimble. Now we've got a hell of a lot of new builds. I've picked up a hell of a lot of work on the new builds. So they obviously moving from London or I don't know wherever up north. It can be anywhere, can't it? But they've moved into these very expensive new builds. They're like double the price of my place, and they're wanting a gardener. So they've just gone on Google and gone Gardner Wimborne, and then obviously they found me one way or another. If they found me on the website, it's linked. It's all linked together in it, Sam. You know, it's all linked.
yeah,
All
all
linked
through
together.
Google.
But it's had a big effect. But I'm not trying to be big headed. I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm raking it in, because I'm not. Because that would be something else we could talk about, is my health and stuff. I don't know about you, but I don't know about you, Sam, but my health limits how much I can actually do, which is one of the reasons I think I started doing this sort of thing, the podcast, and more for me was YouTube, wasn't it? So
I find the health side is for me, talking about my health, I had a setback a few years ago, which put me off my feet for a few months and sort of changed the way that I had to live. But I'll be honest with you, before that, I thought I was bulletproof. The thought of being out never
yeah,
ever crossed my mind, but now it's not on my mind, as in it's debilitating for me and it's worrying me. But as you get older, you realise that this job is a physical job, isn't it? You're using
you're not
joints
wrong. You're not wrong.
and you're bending down your knees, your hands, and I used to have it where you'd do a proper hard day, and then the next day you wouldn't notice, you'd be back up and at it. But now I'm noticing where it's sort of leaching into the next day, and the reality is we are selling our time, but also a bit of our body to a customer, aren't we? Really, and the thing that I've realised now is pricing and getting your pricing right and making sure you're compensated correctly for that is so important, because otherwise, money makes the world go around, but if you're a cheap gardener for a cheap rate and you're knackering yourself, you're only really benefiting the customer, when in reality it should be you getting the benefit from running this industry.
That's right. Well, that's what slowed me down and slows me down still now. I've got a weight problem. I haven't been
Tell me
doing,
about it.
I haven't been doing, yeah, I haven't been doing the videos so much because obviously I think perhaps being overweight, the heat's affected me more so, and I definitely don't drink enough water. That's for sure.
Oh, it's
I've
killing
got,
at us, mate. You need to.
I have got a bottle of water in the car with me now, but yeah, I've had the option of doing a lot more work, but I have to sort of pick and choose my jobs. You know, now I'm 50 next year, in January, so it's not too far away. But I don't want to. I said on these podcasts, I don't want to say, are there any things I don't want to talk about? I don't want to like put people off of employing me because I'm still very much employable. But I have to be a bit careful, like you said, with the bending. So I've got varicose veins, so
Hmm.
they limit what I can do with my right leg. And I have been told by the doctor now I've got to lose quite a bit of weight. Should I give away my weight? Should I give away my weight? I don't know. I don't know if my scales are right, but I think it was 17 stone. But the scales are saying 16 stone, £6, 6 ounces. So
Well,
there's some
I'll
of the devil
tell
in it.
you. So I try not to talk about people. If you know, never seen me in the flesh.
Yeah.
I'm a big gardener, as in I'm a big bloke, and I never try and make light of that. Well, I'll make a joke about it, but I never
It's
try and
possible
bring
that
it in.
it's possible that I've reached 18 stone. I'm not sure, but it's about 16.66, which is
Well,
still the heaviest I've known myself to ever be.
well, at the start of the season, I was 26 zone 6,
Wow.
and
Well, you carry it well then.
yeah, oh, everyone is like, oh my god, we can't believe that. Like, it's like I'm just big all over, and I've
Yeah.
slimmed down. I've dropped down to 22 stone 1 when I weighed myself, and
I thought you'd
I,
looked as if you'd lost a bit.
yeah, I felt the benefit of it. But food and like for me, I'll always have a weight problem. For me, food is it's the
Yeah,
hardest thing to give up, as in overconsumption because food's everywhere, isn't it? But you
I'm
know,
probably the same. I can't be on here for too long because Mara's made me a strawberry cheesecake
oh
from
my
scratch.
god,
And it's just come out of the freezer because she made it quick and it's gone into the fridge. They were all saying in there, how long are you going to be? Ah,
wow.
but no, I've got,
We will carry on and we'll change the subject of my gluttony to we talked about YouTube and you're getting a lot of work from YouTube.
yeah,
Do you
um,
worry about maybe customers seeing a video? So we've all done it. We've all had a not a moan as
yeah,
in we
totally.
took it we've took it out on a customer and we've badmouthed them in an unprofessional way. I believe everything that we've done and I've seen you've done is done in a professional way. Do you
Yeah,
ever worry about either that customer seeing it and picking you up on it, and then
yeah,
is then almost outing
yeah,
you because you've outed her or him in a public manner, even though you haven't technically? Uh,
yeah.
or the worst one is actually a customer thinking you're talking about them when in reality you are because
Yeah, the problem is the best videos I haven't been able to make. I haven't been able to make the best videos. The videos that would have got all the views, like the one that I did with talking about my prices, that got a lot of views. But and the when bad things happen to me, they get the most views. But there's a lot of bad things that have happened to me that I haven't been able to report
yeah,
because of the fear of the person. Even though I'm not naming the person,
yeah,
I mean, I
yeah,
can give you a for instance from like last week. It happens literally every week to me. Something happens, and I think, oh, Mara goes, don't worry about it. Just go and make a video about it. And I'm like, but the thing is, you're thinking, why does Steve think they're watching? Because I have to ask for permission to film. And so it's normally a new person that I don't know. So I say, is it okay to film? I do social media and YouTube and blah, blah, blah. They're absolutely fine. They said, that's fine. So I'll wait for them to go back in the house. I don't generally film when they're watching me or walking about, although it can happen that they'll walk out when I'm in the middle of film and I just pause and then carry on when they go back in. But that's the reason that they will know that I'm on. So they know clearly I'm on YouTube. So if I've just done their job, a week after, it's likely that their job will be published, and so that's why I can't. But I mean, do you want me to give me do you want me to give a for example of this week?
yeah. Go for it.
Right. So it's the wrong type of year, so don't come at me for doing it the wrong time of year. Told the customer it's the wrong time of year to scarify and reseed. But I said, if you're happy to water it twice a day, every day, I said, it's fine, we'll go ahead. And they're like, yeah, we want it done. So like, bear in mind, it's a pretty good lawn anyway. So you couldn't do too much wrong, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
did a light scarification is okay, just to get a bit of fact out. There was no moss in it. It's a brand new build with a brand new lawn. So it's just a case of they've let the lawn get long, they've hashed it down, they've let it get long, they've hashed it down, and it just doesn't like it, does it? Because it's been finely looked after. So I
Yeah.
said to him, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. We want it done. I said, right, well, look, I'll do it for you. If it goes wrong, I'll do it again in the autumn. So I agree. In the end, I reluctantly agreed. It's quite a lot of money to have it done, and I did it. And then on the day, I happened to have some fleece in the van, and I said, do you want me to fleece? It was agreed that I'd fleece just the odd patch of lawn where there was clearly no grass,
Yeah. Wait, just.
really bad. There's only a few patches. And he goes, yeah. He said, but he said, won't they eat the bird seed? The birds eat the seed, the grass seed, from all over. And I said, right. Well, I said, I did see this video where they covered the whole lawn with um, fleece. So anyway, I went ahead and I did all this for him. And I charged him, I won't say how much I charged him to do that, but I was there to 7:30 doing it. So I massively overrun. And I had to come up in my head with the price. I'll tell you, I didn't charge for the fleece, which was quite expensive. I didn't charge for putting anything to hold it down. So I just used nails, like 6-inch big nails.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, he was really pleased. The guy was pleased. And I said to him when I left, or before I was doing it, I said, I haven't priced for this. This is extra. But I didn't give him a price because I didn't know how long it was going to be. I was at the start. He said, this is somebody who said to me, like, price is no object. Anyway. So, anyway, did that, billed for it, and he never paid me. And I went back and checked on it about a week. It was a week later. All the grass seed had come up because of this hot weather, and he'd done his end. He'd pulled his end out of the hat,
Yeah, yeah.
watering twice a day. Grass seed was all up. I looked at it and I said, right, we've got to take it off. And he goes, really? I said, yeah. Oh, sorry, I missed a bit. He said to me, he said, oh, I don't like all the nails you've used. Can you come back and use the plastic pegs? I said, yeah. So we had to do all that as well, order all
But
that. So that had to
the
be done.
nails
Amazon.
aren't permanent, though,
Amazon guy
surely.
let himself in our house. Yeah. The Amazon guy let himself in our house, so we had all that rigmarole. We had to complain about that. Anyway, we replaced all the nails with plastic pegs, which should have been done anyway. Anyway, so
You
we did
won't be
that. And then
leaving them in long term anyway. They'll all be taken back anyway, won't they?
yeah.
So,
So anyway, bear in
yeah,
mind, I didn't charge him for the fleece, I didn't charge him for the nails, and I didn't charge him for the pegs. I had to go back on another occasion and do. Anyway, Friday came round. I went and did it all again. Basically, I charged him 2 hours and 2 hours,
yeah, yeah.
and so 4 hours in total to put it down and take it up, which is absolutely nothing. And I should have charged him double, right? Because I didn't charge him for the fleece, for the pegs, for the administration, for our time away on the road and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he came round, he goes, I think all that should be included in the price of the scarifying. So that was not, anyway, he sort of kept the money back and didn't pay. But I sent him a message of the I screenshotted message and said, you asked for it to be done, and I've got it in writing, which I did. And I think you'll agree. If it was 2 hours, I said it was billable hours that I did because I was there to 7:30, and it did stop the birds from eating it and whatnot. But do you know what I mean? When you're busy, it's a
But why
problem,
did
isn't
he
it?
want the nails swapping over? Because,
Well,
well,
this is the thing. Well, this is my idea. So if I don't think he'll ever listen to this podcast because it'll be on your thing. But if he does, I think his wife said I don't like the nails, and we put bits of wood. He had some bits of wood, so we put some bits of wood down on it as well to stop it blowing away.
because in
But
reality, the nails are only really going to affect you, as in, if you
mm,
forget to pick one up, you're going to mow it.
yeah, no, I made sure I meticulously crawled round and made sure I got every single one.
So has he
Um,
paid you now?
he's paid up and he's now asking for the weed or lawn treatment now because he's got one patch of clover and some weeds, and I haven't actually put a quote in yet because I'm actually reluctant to. I'm actually sort of wondering if I should go back because of what happened. I mean, he's paid and it's all been sorted, but
I don't blame you on
I'm
that score.
I'm that busy because my hourly rate isn't that high, and we're only talking about a couple of hours. But he said, "Why am I paying for it?" I said, "Well, it was." I said, "I made myself available for work." I said, "And I did what you asked me to do." I said, "So if I don't charge for it, you not only have you got the pegs for free, and obviously all the hassle of getting it, and the fleece for free, and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? You've basically got 4 hours for free, basically. So
Well, he did
we're
say
not.
money's no object, didn't he? And he's
Well, I won't. I can't go into things he said, but basically every time I talk to him, he's on holiday. So
yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, it's no problem, Steve. I'm in Timbuktu land. I mean, if I give too many details away, because it's a
No,
real
that's
person.
fine, that is, matey.
Well,
We'll.
but I mean, at the moment, I don't know if we're going to carry on with this person or not, because we are. I'm getting probably like you. I don't know if you do hedging. But I'm getting a lot of hedging inquiries, a lot.
Yeah, hedge cutting season for me is well and truly sort of on its way through, basically.
Um, I did say to the tattoo gardener Pete about hedging. I said I'm not. Again, another reason I'm not putting videos up is because I'm doing a lot of hedging, and I got so much negativity about the birds. Now I've done quite a few, at least three. I haven't seen any birds, but they're not much more than what 6 feet hedges, and they're like either I can't think what they're called now, beech or hornbeam. But I haven't. Honestly, I can say, God strike me down dead. I haven't seen any bird nests.
Yeah,
There was some pigeons. There was some pigeons in the corner, and the customer said, "Don't do the corner by the house. There's pigeons nesting." So we didn't. Do you know what I mean?
my personal take is no matter what time of the year, I always have a check anyway, just for
Yeah.
peace of mind. Plus the facts I found now, you've always got to check a hedge because there's
Yeah.
always a stray set of lights in there, or
Oh,
BT
there
has
was.
thrown the fibre optic cable across it or something.
I took James out. I didn't film. I probably film when I go there next and say, look, I did all these hedges for the guy. Like I said, I didn't find any birds' nesters in any of it, but it's not particularly high hedging. So because of the cats, they won't go in lower hedging. But well, I wouldn't say they won't, but they didn't in this case. But there was lights all over. I said, do you want me to take the? I did ask him the couple of weeks before, so it's 2 weekly visits. I said, do you want me to take the lights down? He went, oh no, I forgot. Big lights, expensive ones as well.
Oh God.
And I got up the ladder and I had to hand prune. I hand pruned around them because they were on the roof as well. So you obviously didn't take them off the building. But where the hedge met the building, I thought you could easily just been running the clippers up the side, the electric ones or whatever, and easy cut straight for it. But they don't. Customers don't think. You've got to have eyes in the back of your head really when you're gardening now.
Very much so. Have you got any plans for your children maybe to take the reins, or have they shown any interest in
Um,
working for Mr.
James is James is old enough, but he has absolutely no interest in gardening whatsoever. I think he thinks he might be coming out with me next week. He has been coming out with me, but he doesn't do as good a job as I do with the mower. He's pretty good at raking up and that, so he's pretty good as he's I call him my tool valet.
Yeah, yeah. He's a donkey basically.
Yeah, he's good at getting things from the
Yeah.
van and cleaning up, but his stripes are a bit. He misses the odd Mohican. I had to go over a lawn the other day for him.
So
But
going a little bit back to YouTube, when I was saying about, for me, I put up videos talking about customers and negative experiences from customers, and it has gone through my mind in the past that what happens if they do listen to it. But part of me, I always try and do a video like that. I always trying to keep it as professional as possible, and I always think whenever I've seen you do videos like that, it's as professional as possible. And in a
yeah,
weird sort of way, I always think, well, maybe I would like the customer to see it, and maybe they
yeah,
can see it from our point of view, because the situation you just described it then, how I take it, and I wasn't there, but I'm trusting what you say, that that chap gave you the free reign. He gave you no constraint on the cost, no constraint on the price.
yeah.
You did above
He,
and
he
beyond,
had the,
and yet,
he had the opportunity. When I said to him, "This hasn't been priced for," he had the opportunity to say, "Well, how much is it going to be?" So what I did, and I think it was right as a professional, I did it 50% knocked down. So if he'd said, I want, at the start of the job, when it was quoted for, if he'd said, I want you to fleece the entire lawn, and there was one out the back and two out the front, that's 3 lawn areas. If he'd said, I want all those 3 lawn areas covered, and then I want you to come back and inspect it and uncover it, I would have priced it at double, because that's what we do. If that's how we do pricing. as a rule, when I price, I'll make double what my hourly rate is if I'm on like 25 quid an hour, say. It won't be, if it's a price job, it'll probably be heading towards more like the pound a minute, won't it, than the £25. Because we know that when we get done, we're going to get paid rather than having to lean on a brush to make it last all day.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So he basically got it 50% because it wasn't, which I shouldn't have done. I should have said, well, hold on a minute. I should have said, this is the price. Do you still want it fleeced? But I think it was the situation where I didn't realize the birds were going to eat all his seed. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, well,
Well, you
you
always
know,
lose some anyway.
fair's
So
fair. You know what I mean? I didn't lose any money, is all I'm saying. But for him, I think that's where the grievance from my side came. And if you're understanding it as I sent it over to you, is I've done it half price, which is the best. So I gave him the best price I could give him for something that was not realised in the quote. You know, it was unexpected. Should really be in the terms and conditions, shouldn't it? Really, if the unexpected crops up, like we realise that the birds are going to. Well, I didn't expect him to get the
reasonably.
whole. I mean, he was lucky. At the end of the day, there was enough roll of fleece in the van to do. You know, it was a big roll, massive roll. But if I hadn't have had that in the van, I wouldn't have been able to do it in the first place. But for him to then like ransom the money, like I don't think I should pay this. And so I took screenshots of all the stuff because we worried that he'd delete the history.
Mhm.
So we did screenshots and then we just sent a message saying what we said. Look, you know, I don't want to go over it again, but like all these details that we had to do, like, you know, ordering and stuff. And, you know, basically we didn't bill for all of it anyway. So,
Would you make the same mistake again if a different customer posed the exact same
well,
scenario?
I'm a bit cross because I've been trying to follow a new sort of business plan of just doing like Moblos and goes, and
Yeah.
definitely just doing price work, and it's proven very fruitful. A lot of people prefer it, and you'll agree with this. They want to know they don't want to know what the hourly rate is. They want to know what the price of the job's going to be because an hourly rate could just go on and on, couldn't it? So I,
Customers want the hourly rate because it's conditioned to them, so they'll want
yeah,
to know what it is, but they don't really want to know what it is. I think the majority of customers, they want a price for the grass or a price for the job, and then that's all they want to worry about is whether the price is suitable for them. Uh,
yeah,
and I think they don't want to. I think some people overthink it and they'll watch you and they'll try and work out your hourly rate and then pick you up on it after the fact.
that's right.
I think most people they just want to know what it is, and then if it's within their budget, that's fine by them. But I think you've done the right thing, and I think if you are, going over to sort of mow and goes in air quotes, I've noticed in my business, it's definitely helped me sort of increase the final ticket of the day value, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, it can almost. I mean, if I was doing 2 hours for 60 quid, I can usually get in and out in an hour and a half now, rather than saying it's going to be the full 2 hours. So what would I do with that other half an hour if I'm doing a mow, blow and go, and I'm saying it's 30 quid an hour?
But they'd
I'd be
have you water
losing.
in the garden or something.
Yeah,
They do whatever to make
exactly.
the time up.
So I've got quite a few now. My point being, just to finish what I was trying to say was the I'm looking for Moblos and goes, and I've picked up a lot of them, Sam. But then they've asked me, oh, can you put a hanging basket up, and can you put some trellis up, and can you do other things, which you'll say or people are saying in the comments, that's like add-ons, and you can get more, which is true. But I don't want to, like, they've had me digging borders out. These are the things I don't like: digging borders and digging turf because of my leg and my back. You know, heavy stuff. Like they've had me landscaping, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't mind putting up hanging baskets and a little bit of trellis and a few things like that. But when it comes to like doing lifting, digging soil out and putting soil in the van and stuff like that, the new work that I've found I've got, they've had me doing like I'd rather go and say, look, I'll do the lawn, but I don't want the borders. But I've ended up doing,
It's hard
ended
to
up
say. But you
doing it
bill
all.
for it and you charge them for it as an extra, though, don't you?
Yeah, it's difficult. I'd rather take on 10 more mow blows and goes for 60 quid, so that's £600, than to do a £600 hard graft digging
Yeah.
a garden out. You know what I mean?
It's all
Um,
about the low hanging fruits in this industry. Just get the work in, the easy jobs, and the small jobs. For me, I find that pays a lot better than the big back breaking jobs.
yeah, so I've got a lot more mow blows and goes this year, but like I said, I'm at the moment I'm experiencing a lot of having to unload the van and put totally different tools in all the time. So it's like variety, isn't it?
Have
Variety is not
you
the spice of life at Steve G's Garden Services. He just wants to mow.
looked into? Do you own any cordless equipment at all?
Um, the only battery I've got is I actually bought. I don't think anybody will be watching my channel, but if you do watch Steve Cheese Garden Services YouTube channel, I have bought some new steel equipment to complement some of the existing equipment I've got. So it adds on to what I've already got. But that's battery. The battery still. I don't know what the model is. That's the. I don't know. They've got the AP 300 batteries in it at the moment.
Yeah,
It's like the
that's
still
professional range.
multi unit. Yeah. So I bought some more stuff for the multi unit. I haven't got a lot, have I? I don't think. Not battery. It's all petrol. Only the multi unit, I think.
Could you see the benefit of it though straight away?
Oh, if I had the money, I'd have all electric.
Yeah,
If I had the money, because my arms are hurting. My hedge cutters are my steel hedge cutters, the small one and the big one, the double blades, very heavy. The two stroke ones, they're very heavy. I'm feeling it. It must be, like I said, I'm turning 50 next year, and I would like to swap them out. I mean, even if it's not steel, I'm not like a tool snob like that, but I mean, I do like steel, and I like Husqvarna, and I like Hater, and I like Weebang. I bought Weebang, but like they sent me out that chainsaw, that cheap Chinese chainsaw, the
yeah.
CC. I like that as well. I've got to go over the allotment. I've got a load of wood over there that I use for runner bean canes. It's big enough to put on the log burner, sizable. I'm going to log it up with that, and use it as like it's a bit bigger than kindling. So,
How's Pete been getting on? So the Pete is in Tattooed Gardener. How's he been going on with the crest range?
oh wow, I don't know. I've been so busy. I mean, as far as I know, it's fine. I did enjoy using his mower. I went over there, popped down, seen him, and he let me have a go on it. It's really lightweight. I think it was pretty lightweight, pretty quick as well. I think it made pretty good work. But I think the battery stuff, as you know, I think's got a lot better.
Oh
Um,
yeah, for me, I do think it's the future of the industry.
I do as
Um,
well.
I
Yeah, I
think
would.
I think there's
I
a
would
lot of
definitely
people that
have it.
are hesitant, but I think if they're the right gardener for it in the first place, so if somebody's just mowing grass verges all day, trimming, cordless probably isn't the best way to go for them. But I genuinely say the majority of gardeners, like us, one man band, mixed maintenance. I really do think there's a place for battery for all of us. To be fair,
Mm. Hopefully, my daughter's hopefully starting at a new school, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get a few more hours in because I usually do the school run. But that's when I say I'm not full time, it's not that I don't want to be full time. I very much do want to work full time, but it's like I've got 3 kids, so it's a bit tricky with all the Mara works as well as working for me, doing my books and answering the phone and helping with quotes and that. She works as well, so it's just not enough hours in the day, is there?
you've just got to do what you can when you can, and I think bringing up 3 children, as well as battling, a little bit of poor health, and you're
Mm.
able to go out there and put bread on the table. I think anybody doing that deserves, the respect. And this is one of the things that frustrates me the most about this industry is we are just normal blokes, normal women, with situations, and it's like customers will say to me, "Oh, we can't pay because we got this, and this, or we're having trouble, or we need to get rid because
I'm
we've
on
got
a pension.
this, and
I'm
this."
on a
But
pension.
we've all got our own stories, and and even when people get on the horse about, we're too expensive and we're trying it on, well, we're not. We're just trying to make a living.
But this guy that tried it on with me, now I'm thinking whether I want to go back or not. Mara says not to, but I said at the end of the day, he's paid all his bills, so I haven't got an axe to grind with him like that. But
I
I was
think
disappointed.
there's 2 ways to look at it. You could walk away, and if it's good work, you could be walking away from that. Or what my personal opinion is, he's shown his hand. You
Yeah,
now know that everything you've got to go through a fine tooth comb with him.
yeah.
And is this going to be
But
okay? This is the
he
price
also
for
he
this.
said to me, "Do you want me to do an interim mow?" An interim mow. That's usually for me is like that was the point of the job. That's why he hired me to mow the lawn. So if he's doing the interim mow, it's sort of that's another red flag, isn't it? Really for me.
So have you not mowed the lawn yet?
Oh God, don't! It's been fed and it's been kept under the fleece. So I mean, it's been out from under the fleece now for a week, I reckon. So it must be pretty getting desperate now.
Wow,
It must be getting pretty
I think the
desperate.
fun's there for you there, definitely. I think you've got to make that decision yourself, I'm afraid, matey.
You'll have to give me a call and see how I get on, which way it goes. But I mean, honestly, I've got three people asked me to do their hedges, three in a row. So it's one guy in the middle. He phoned up and cancelled because he had a guitar lesson. And he phoned me back and said, I can't make it, but he said both my neighbours. I've been out and looked at it, so that's a good one. And then there's one on the answer phone and one coming on a text. That's five just this week.
Yeah.
So I think, like you said, if we don't need to hesitate about this time of year dropping
I hear a lot of
somebody
people, and
a little job.
I always like hearing and asking this question. Are you of the mindset there's enough work for everybody?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I would love to do more videos on, helping people set up in business, or that's what, showing people what I do. It's genuinely what I do. Like the tools I've just bought, I've genuinely bought the tools because I genuinely need them. If people said, "Oh, why did you take things for free?" Like the saw, the saw I got. I haven't had many things, have I, to be fair. It's because it's things that I need. I've got a lamp. I haven't done the video on it. A headlamp. I need to do a video on that. And Pete gave me a glue gun thing, which isn't really gardening, but he said if you get time, he said I got given it, so he's given me that. Actually it's a corking gun for decorators, electric one. It's made by CC. I mean, if I get time, I need loads of decorating done in my house, so I'll give it a shot. I can't afford a decorator, unfortunately, so it will be a case of I'll be doing it. But straying off the subject of gardening, but it'll still be
You could like
under
ice a cake
review.
with it.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you probably could.
I just think on the
I
whole,
wouldn't use the builder's chalk though.
no, probably not. I just think on the whole, I think for me, people can choose to watch the video. So if it's linked as sponsored or promoted,
Yeah.
it's up to them. I think if you're going down one of the things I try on my channel is to avoid clickbait or lean heavily into it and almost take the mick out of the whole clickbait sort of culture. Um, but I think at the end of the day, if any gardener out there, somebody come out and said, "Oh, I've got this tool in my shed. Do you want it? But would you just have 20 minutes talking to my husband and tell you what you think of it?" Everybody would do it. Everybody would take a freebie. I think the one thing I like about the gardening scene in the UK is that I'd say
Yeah.
the vast majority, I think, are straight shooters. I think there's a couple out there that you see and you cringe a bit, but I think the vast majority of people, you, we're just blokes or women. We're just people who are just trying to make a living doing our job, but then we're also either trying to build something on the side. Let's face it, I know with my channel, I earn about 30p a day, if that. So I know I'm not going to be retiring off at any time soon. But
Yeah, mine might have stopped a bit because I've been so busy and I'm so tired and I'm repeating myself with the heat. The heat's got to me. The last thing I want to do is turn the camera on at the moment because I just think it'll be me melted into a pud. It'll be like cheese on toast, wouldn't it?
no, you'd be like the top of a creme brulee, I think.
Yeah, it's been too hot. It's hot in here now, and this car has got hot in here, but
Oh, well, I think
I'm
we'll
start.
finish this up and we'll let you get. So there's one sort of final parting question I'm going to ask you. Is
Yeah,
in as quick as fashion, well, two things. First, any advice for anybody starting out?
you
And then the
don't do it.
second thing,
Just
I want
don't
you
do
to
it. Just don't do it.
a plug for your gardening business or your YouTube channel. So, what advice would you give to anybody just starting out?
Beg, steal, and borrow. No, don't steal. Stealing is wrong. But I mean, if you can borrow it off your dad and then forget to give it back, then that's kind of stealing, which is again, it's wrong. But yeah, when you start out, you don't need steel like I've got. I use steel because the estate used to pay for everything, so I'm used to using it, so I wouldn't compromise. But I have to save up the money. But I'm like nearly 50 years old, so I'm probably in a better position than when I started out. When I started out, I'd go to B&Q and buy like the cheapest mower in there. or I'd use the customer's mower and then I sneak off with the customer's mower and do somebody else's. But don't buy expensive tools. Don't pay for advertising. Just walk around and knock on doors, or do flyers, or use Facebook. There's so much you can do on your phone now, isn't there? Like loads of media, isn't there? That's all of it. Just do all of it. I don't know what else, Sam. I wouldn't spend too much money. You don't need to spend money. I've got a few customers now that said to me recently, new ones I've taken on. He said all the tools are there. So he said, Steve, if you want to cycle up, and I thought, yeah, that's great for you, but it's not great for all me. I can't do that with all my other customers. But a lot of customers will have tools there that you can use. A bit of a grey area with the old tax and stuff, but we won't worry about that too much. But yeah, if you can use the customers' tools when you're starting out, but yeah, beg, steal, and borrow. But that's what I would do. But yeah, a plug for my channel.
So where can people find you?
So I'm on YouTube mostly. I pretty much do YouTube mostly. So it's Stephen Cheese Garden Services, Stephen with a PH, so step pen, as my wife likes to say. I'm also on Facebook and I've tried to start, was it Instagram? Instagram, I do a little bit, but I'm not feeling the Instagram vibe because I was like you, Sam, and the Kilted Gardener. I very much did enjoy him coming down. I just don't get the time to follow the YouTubers like I used. I've been so busy. I mean, I know, Sam, you'll know this. I've got a mortgage, and I have to make sure that that's my priority. My only priority is paying the mortgage. If I get time to do YouTube, I'll do it.
Good
I
on
like,
you,
I
mate.
like, I don't earn a lot from YouTube. I think this month is something like 60 quid, but I I was hammering it, so I'm in arrears. So the next payment I get won't be nothing. It probably won't be nothing because I haven't been doing it for a while now because of the heat. So
Good on you,
it'll
mate.
probably
Like I said, you're just
take a
putting
few
food
months
on your
before I
table.
get any more money.
So we're
But,
going to wrap this up now, guys.
yeah, thank you very much for inviting me on your show, Sam. I
Oh,
very much enjoyed it.
don't worry at all. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I'm going to go and eat my cheesecake.
Oh, well, enjoy it then, mate.